Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, a special Coach's Corner Canfield style, and we have the brand new, newly crowned baseball coach at Canfield High School, a guy that is no stranger to YSN, who's been a huge supporter of ours throughout the years, and a guy that we're incredibly proud of and cannot wait to cover. Even though baseball season just feels like it just ended, it's starting all back up right here on the network with this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we bring in Coach Matt Weymer. Wimes, how are you,
Thank
buddy?
you. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm well. Congratulations. I know
Thank
this
you so
was
much.
this was something that was a long time coming, but there were a lot of twists and turns along the way. Obviously, not your first stop, but hopefully for you, your last. I mean, this is a job that you've looked at for a long time. You've appreciated, you've loved, you've been on the coaching staff under Gary Niddle, and now you're the head honcho. For you, what is this whole kind of twists and turn journey been like for you over the last couple months?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me first off. And, just the whole experience, I think when you start coaching, you're just so excited to get that first job. And I was really lucky at Springfield to kind of have that success. And I was really excited to go to Ursuline, and I had a great experience there for 6 years. And, but as you get older and you kind of start looking at things from a little bit further back, you start to appreciate different things. So, talking with my wife, and now we have Phil, my 5-year-old son, to consider. So, I think I was really looking at fit, and you still. This is like hopefully my last stop. This will be it for me. I'm going to do this job as hard as I can for as long as I can. And when they tell me it's time to be done, or I decide it's time to be done, it'll be done. And I just couldn't imagine a better fit. And you mentioned Coach Niddle, 3 years ago, bringing me on staff. I had never been an assistant before, and getting to stay involved with baseball and kind of being like an assistant, it really allowed me to kind of take that I don't know, aerial view, if you will, and it just really recharged my batteries a little bit. Let me work with the kids, the parents in Canfield, and I just became really convinced that this was a place that I really wanted to call home. And when the job opened, I was extremely excited to apply and to be named the next head coach. Canfield and baseball, they're very synonymous with each other. If you can't get excited about baseball in Canfield, then I don't know what to tell you.
Obviously, you're one of the pitching gurus in this area.
Guru, yeah, sure.
Well, from my standpoint, I think I know for you, you mentioned
Mickey's trying to get in the action here.
Come on, Mickey. For you, taking a step back and looking at things through the assistant coach's lens, how will that make you a better head coach this time around?
Yeah, so with everything that happened, with Ursuline, I really did enjoy my time there. And, the more I look back on it, I think personally, I really lost focus of what was important in that high school setting. I was really successful at Springfield, and I just kind of let that pursuit of getting to the top of the mountain really overtake me. And, it's at Ursuline, I feel like, I practiced a little too long, and we practiced maybe a little too much. And I just thought, like, no matter what obstacles you throw in front of us, we can overcome them. And I think I'd made the experience for some of those kids just unenjoyable at times, and it wasn't out of malice or anything like that. I wanted to be successful. I'd always thought that, like, if you just push a little harder, it'll get there. And, kind of taking a step back and being an assistant, you just realize that while obviously winning is wildly important and that's what you want to do, you want the kids to have a great experience. You want them to leave after 4 years feeling like they were part of a team, like everyone was rowing in the same direction, that you had this common focus. And I feel like at Ursuline, I just lost track of that in those last couple of years. And so having the chance to kind of like take a secondary seat, if you will, kind of rethink the strategy, kind of look at how, like, I'd never been an assistant before. So getting to watch how Gary did things, kind of taking the pieces from that you thought were good. It was an experience that I didn't think that I needed, but now looking back on it, I think it was wildly beneficial, especially being at Canfield, getting a chance to be in there and seeing how that fit will work. And I just couldn't be more confident that this is going to be a very successful marriage.
This job, more than most, is incredibly polarizing. from a standpoint of Canfield baseball, there's going to be people that are always going to be on your side. There's people that are always supposedly going to be against you. So how do you operate knowing that this is one of the most polarizing positions in all of the valley, especially when it comes to the baseball aspect of things?
Yeah, I think a big part of it's just communication with the kids, the parents. You want to be as transparent as possible. Here are the expectations. Here are the things that we are going to push for. Here are the things that we're going to be looking at. You want to make sure that everyone's just on the same page as much as possible. I've always had very good success with that. Just communication, just telling people this is the things that we're going to focus on. And, if you're upfront and you're transparent and then you stick to those principles, every coach has a foundational set of ideas or beliefs that they kind of stick to. And, the old saying is no matter if it's the starting shortstop or the last kid on the roster, you have to treat every kid the same. And I really do believe in that. You have to coach every kid, regardless of how important they may or may not be in the program, in your eyes, in their parents' eyes, in other people's eyes. Every kid deserves to be coached. Every kid should reach their full potential. And then just in terms of running a program, I don't know if it's the right way or the wrong way, but I've always been very open door. I've been told to change my phone number to do, to kind of, when people call, don't call back. I just never been that guy. So if parents want to know things about my program, I want them to be able to get me on the phone. I want to be able to respond to that email. I am a very open book when it comes to all of that. And I've just always thought that's the best way to do things. We tell parents, if you have questions, call me. But when you call me, I'm going to give you the answer. And, the answer might not be the one that you're looking for, but we're going to give you the answer. So, I just think being upfront, being transparent, being inclusive, involving everybody, sticking to those principles that you talk about early on, like, hey guys, this is what it's going to be like. And, it's always nice to come into a situation. Canfield is the furthest thing from a broken system that's ever existed. This is a program that's been great for a very, very, very long time. I mean, going back to Coach Ross and Coach Koenig and Coach Niddle. I mean, this is a program that has expectations. This is not getting handed the keys to a broken down car. This is a Ferrari that needs the oil change, maybe. That's how you're looking at it. This is, I was telling some people, like, you ever get like the office furniture that comes in the box and it's got 700 pieces and all of these directions and everything. And it's like, the box has already been delivered. Everything's already been put together. It's just, hey, this needs tightened. This needs flipped around, this, that, or the other. You're getting handed a really great opportunity. And any coach would come in and tweak the system the way that they would want it to be, do things that they believe in, change things that they think maybe need changed. But this is not hey, we're going to come in and we're going to throw everything out the window kind of thing. I mean, Canfield baseball is and always hopefully will be very successful.
Yeah, that's perfect segue into my next question, because this is not a typical situation where a coach walks away after his son or whatever graduates, or
Mm-hmm.
the cupboard is empty. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you've got a long list of potential players that can be good for a very long time. This was a young team last year, for the exception of Michael Patelis and a couple other seniors, right? That are potentially, this could be the best baseball team in the area next year. So for you to not have to crumple up the blueprint, throw it out the window, is that an advantage moving forward? And what kind of things did you see last year that you say, hey, if we tweak this or reshuffle the furniture, like you mentioned, how do we make this a team that it gets to districts and regionals and potentially the state championship?
Yeah, I mean, there's the expectations couldn't be higher. I mean, I think as a coach, that's what you would want. You'd want to take over a situation where people expect great things from you. And we do return a giant slew of kids. And we had plenty of talent down at the JV level as well. The sophomore class is large and talented, and we bring back, I think, 7 seniors that are coming back that can all contribute. And, that's a lot more fun, I think, than inheriting a team that you're just trying to get off the ground. Um, in terms of changes, it's probably more of like a focus. Like, I've always been a defense first guy, run the bases guy. So just kind of like a perceptual change. Baseball, there are no set plays. We're not going to run the North Carolina fast break or the high-low offense, or we're not going to run the spread option or the West Coast. Like, baseball is about, this is the way that I view the game. Now let's practice that view and get as really good as we can at that view, and then try to impose that onto other people. I think sometimes with baseball, people become very concerned about what everyone else is going to do to us. Where I actually think Coach Mullenix at West Branch said this in one of his interviews on their state run. We're just really focused on us. What can we do to be better? What do we have? What style can we play? How well can we execute that style? I just think baseball is really unique in the fact that you can kind of frame a team every year and just really get down to, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're really going to focus on. And then you want to take that into the games. If we spend a lot of time in practice, trying to execute plays on the bases, then we want to see that in the game. And just kind of making sure that we're focusing on the things in practice that we want to see our kids do in the games. The other stuff is, it's behind the scenes. It's, accountability stuff. It's culture stuff. It's, you're trying to find the right mix, the right sayings, the right whatever to try to get the kids to buy in. And the kids have already bought in. They've always bought in at Canfield. It's just, now someone's new. He's going to have some things that are different, and now they have to buy into that system like they've always bought it in the past.
You mentioned this is a kind of new territory for you because, it's a family first opportunity. You've got Phil's a little bit older than he was, the last time you were a head coach. Laura's got things going on in her life. Obviously, this is a family first thing. So what kind of, things did you have to discuss as a family before you put your hat in the ring?
Yeah. So when I was at Springfield, I was dating Laura. And then the second time we went to the state championship game, that was the year we got married. So I told the kids if we won state, they could all come to the wedding, and we lost 2-1. And I think Laura might have been the most relieved person in the entire stadium when we lost. And then when I went to Ursuline, we had not had Phil yet. And so we were, kind of doing that thing where, hey, I think this is the best move for me at this time. I want to take this chance. And then we had Phil while I was at Ursuline. And then we moved to Canfield in 2020. And I was kind of, when I left Ursuline in 2021, we were kind of looking for that next step. And I think the thing that, again, I didn't realize that I didn't pay attention to and what was like a fit. I taught at Springfield, so I had that relationship with those kids, and that was great. When I went to Ursuline, I think Ursuline's a very unique place where I think it really benefits you to have gone to school there or have some connection there, or to be, they always say like Jim Harbaugh was a Michigan man. Like, going to Ursuline, I think it just really, like, I didn't go to a private school, and you look what Coach Kemp's done with the program since I've left, and they've won the district twice. And it's just been really impressive what he's been able to do there. So, coming back to Canfield, living here now, being a part of this community, having a little league program that we can utilize like we had at Springfield, just kind of having that family feel that I felt like I couldn't personally grab onto at Ursuline because I wasn't in that scenario. I think that's really going to be a big part of this. And Phil's probably the most excited person. I think when we told him that I was going to get the job, he said, "Does this mean I get to go with the baseball boys all the time?" So he's very excited, and the kids and the families, they've all been so great to him. So the fact that I can walk to practice and we live in this community, it's really exciting just to be able to kind of be a part of like the whole bigger picture at Canfield.
And that's an interesting kind of take too, because, this is something that you're potentially building for your son to be part of someday, and to not necessarily follow in your steps, but to help you achieve some of your dreams and you achieve some of his. So that being said, how important is it for you to continue to kind of build that foundation of Canfield baseball at the lower levels, so that way, as things churn out, you're kind of perennial powerhouses?
Yeah, the Canfield Baseball Club is an amazing blessing in our community. I mean, Phil's playing T-ball, so I go down there a lot, and I mean, there's hundreds of kids running around playing baseball. Now, obviously, as kids get older, they have different passions, different pursuits. They get interested in lacrosse, or they run track, or God willing, they all stick and play baseball. But that connection is vital. You want those kids down there to be excited about the high school team. You want to get them t-shirts and hats and wristbands. You want to have camps. You want to get them around the program as much as they can, so that way they become connected at a very young age to this idea of being a Canfield Cardinal baseball player. And obviously, with my son, that would be fantastic if that's the route he wants to go. But if he doesn't, it's still, I think for any coach, this idea that, like you said, you want to have this continuation. You don't want to be in a situation where you're losing all these kids simply because they've lost interest in baseball. And baseball is really hard because, like CBC goes up to 12 U's, that's sixth grade. And then there's nothing in seventh and eighth grade for those kids. So that's really the demographic where they're like, okay, well, I'll play baseball in the summer, but like, what can I do while I'm at school? So, if there's club lacrosse or I can run track, we have to do a better job of just making sure that those kids in those middle school years still remember about baseball. We get them into the facility. We show them, what the program's all about. We get them interacting with the older kids. And then when you get them into the program, of course, you keep them in the program. You keep them coming back year after year and give them an experience that they can enjoy.
Matt and Gary didn't have the luxury, like myself, of having the long locks, or at least locks at all. In the Canfield program, the baseball team bleaches their hair. Is this going to be part of the go ahead for you, or are we going to see a Slim Shady style of Matt Weymer?
Yeah, that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to do mandated buzz cuts all the way around. No, I don't. I want the kids to do what they want. I want them to feel like they're comfortable, look good, feel good, play good, I guess. If they're into the bleach hair, they can keep the bleach hair. I think sometimes we do traditions because it's just easy to say, well, that's what they've always done, and I think whenever the bleach hair thing started, and I don't know when it did, but sometimes traditions can run out their welcome. Sometimes you do them not because you buy into what it means, but just because, well, they've always done it, so we have to do it. I want the kids to feel like it means something, to get back in touch with this idea of, hey, yeah, it's a tradition, but like, why don't we find out what the root of that tradition was? Why don't we find out how it all started? I don't just want kids dyeing their hair because, well, everyone else did it, so I guess I have to do it too. It's just whatever they want. I don't care, but I want there to be a meaning behind everything. So if they're really excited about getting the blonde hair up and running and continuing it on, then good for them. I'm not gonna get after them for that.
I just can't wait to see your beard's blonde, your hair's blonde.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that would go really well. I think.
Matt Weymer, congratulations. A man that loves sparkly polos, hates joggers on men, and we're grateful for you always, my friend. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, DJ.